Hello, everyone. I'm TyJuan Hughey, founder and CEO of Innovite Solutions. I am getting into the swing of going live and being less scripted on my lives because my last live I was reading and it was structured, but I know a lot of people like structured lives, but they don't just like me reading and scripted things. So in today's live, I'll be talking about my journey as a young CEO, as a young founder, and also my faith journey on how I've been being called and convicted to share my faith journey and my journey as a young CEO, but as my journey as a believer in Christ, in God. So I'll start with my journey as starting my company. As a young CEO, as a person in the supply chain industry, we hear a lot of talk about how the data is bad, data visibility is bad, or it's just not a streamlined process ready for digital transformation. And I hear it talked about a lot in a lot of different podcasts, a lot of different articles, but I really don't see people actually offering solutions for supply chains or who I serve also event managers. So that's ultimately why I started my company. But ultimately, it did come from, I like to say, I had a vision. It came from God. And that's how I started. Going forward, I do think me building along with my faith is very crucial for my success because ultimately, as my journey as a young CEO, it is important to share where I'm getting my inspiration from and where I'm getting my innovation mindset from. And me learning, I have to learn how to build from nothing, building from just a vision and just building. And I think about it, my faith is my foundation because without God, we wouldn't have innovation. God gives us creativity and innovation to be able to create things in meaningful ways and being able to create things to solve problems. So I've been being more called and convicted to tie that in, tie Christ in. He gave me this vision, He gave me this purpose for a reason. And throughout the Bible, we can learn from a lot of biblical stories on innovators, trailblazers. For example, if you think about it, Joseph in the Bible, he was technically the first supply chain leader. If you think about it, Joseph in the Bible was the first supply chain leader. He had to gather, store, transport, and prepare for the famine. But not only that, he had to use precise calculations because we know for 7 years he had to sustain Egypt for the famine. So that's just how modern supply chains operate now. You have to have clean data, you have to prepare precise calculation, and you have to do it with ease. So clean planning for survival. That's what he did. He had to plan for the survival of Egypt. He had to get clean data for success. He had to know how many food supplies he had, how much he could sell, how much he could ration to his people. And if we think about it, he didn't start it all ties back. I'm thinking as it relates to my story. It inspires me because Joseph didn't start in the palace. He didn't start ruling this great supply chain. He started in the pit. He started from nothing. His brothers sold him into slavery. But as his journey goes on, I want to incorporate faith more into my innovation process. And God gives us the natural ability to innovate. It doesn't come from nothing else but God. So I just want to find more community of faith innovators and faith leaders along this journey of innovating and being able to grow in this space and actually teach our faith driven community on how God gives us these innovations and God gives us this mindset to innovate. So, as we learn from the story of Joseph, even in the Bible, he had to have structured calculations for 7 years. He had to have a structured warehousing system, structured data. He had to have structured data for the famine to be sustained and for his people to be able to sustain. So, me building intertwined in that story of what I'm building at Innovite Solutions, helping supply chains and event managers with data collection processes and being able to collect data and being able to be ready for digital transformation is super important to me because it's something that needs to happen and it's something people oftentimes ignores. Digital transformation is coming. More technologies are on the horizon to be able to help you. Things like predictive analytics. AI and technology is good at reading data. But if that data is dirty and that data is not clean and that data is not streamlined in the right process, it it won't serve no benefit. It'll serve little to no benefit. It may actually hurt you if it's predicting off of bad data. So I just wanted to get on here and talk about as a young CEO, it is challenging just to balance my faith and growing a business. But me learning that it's okay to intertwine that, and it is intertwined because as I just shared, stories in the Bible shows how business processes work, how God helps us, gives us visions for a reason to execute those visions. So don't wait. Now is the perfect timing to start with purpose, innovate with technology, with proof, with faith, with purpose. Don't just do it for no reason. This is just the beginning of my live streaming journey and me creating content. I am coming out with a podcast, the Innovation Edge podcast. I have interviewed a few guests, and I'm looking forward to sharing the stories on how global business is transforming and how innovation is transforming our landscape and how you can stay ahead in that innovation. Thank you for watching. And if you are interested in connecting with me on sharing just faith driven ideas or technology ideas and how we can outreach to our community or how I can help you in your supply chain or management business, please feel free to reach out. Thank you. I'm TyJuan Hughey, founder and CEO of Innovite Solutions, and you have a good one.